First, just after 10 a.m. this morning, 10:20 to be exact, after 10 days of preparation, the Liddell Power Station in the Hunter finally shut down for good. 10% of New South Wales energy gone. At National Cabinet this morning, the Prime Minister was dismissing that the closure would have any impact on the grid.
I want to pay tribute to the workers at Liddell. We are making a difference of lowering our emissions, but also increasing supply.
And then listen to this comment from Andrew Forrest, part of an upcoming interview with Ross Greenwood on Business Weekend.
I'm delighted that stinking old carbon bomb, which is like all the other coal-fired power stations around the world, fossil fuel power stations which are destroying our planet. I mean, we're not predicting global warming, Ross, we're living in it now. It is a huge celebration that it closes down, but an even bigger celebration that this massive green energy generator replaces it.
He also went on to say Australians are doing it really well because power prices are coming down, everything's getting cheaper. And this flies in the face of reality, and a lot of experts who say that there's a lot of problems now that we're losing this baseload supply and the variabilities, of course, of renewable power. And just to underline this point, a couple of hours after Liddell closed, AEMO, which is Australian Energy Market Operator, well, they issued an electricity market notice forecasting a lack of reserve level 1 energy supply in New South Wales. Don't say you weren't told. Joining me now here on Credlin, former Resources Minister, Nationals MP Keith Pitt. Keith, welcome. You're doing double duty this week on Credlin, but this is just such a big issue. I wanted to get it across it tonight with someone who knows absolutely what he's talking about. You know, the PM says supply is going up. Andrew Forrest says prices are going down. But then you have that AEMO notice that says there's a real problem with supply 2 hours after Liddell closed. Well, they can't all be right.
You're exactly right, Peter. But firstly, it's a really sad day for all the people that work there, have worked there, rely on that business for their business, all of the contractors. It's just such a huge loss in terms of the local economy. But let's look at the reality. So the Australian Bureau of Statistics, I think just yesterday, said that the power prices in Brisbane, for example, went up more than 30% in just one quarter. There's not one of your viewers, I can tell you right now, who has seen a decrease in their power prices. What we've seen from Mr Forrest, he might want to have a look at the diesel that's going into all those big trucks that haul his iron ore around before it's exported to China to make a lot of money for everyone, including the country. But the reality is coming. That light you see in the distance, Peter, that is the train of reality coming to run us all over. And as you've said, AEMO has already issued warning notices on the contingency reserve. There's not enough there.
Back in April, Matt Keane, who was then in government and he hand on the lever, approved a Liddell battery project, a combined energy total of 500 megawatts an hour to go on the Liddell site. Now, give us a reality check. What can a battery of that size do? Well, firstly, it doesn't exist, so nothing. Secondly, if they do manage to build it, from the reports I've seen, it's got a capacity of 2 gigawatt hours. The actual capacity in hours by megawatts is the important bit. So if it's got a 500 megawatt maximum capacity, it can do 4 hours at 500 megawatts to apparently replace roughly 1,300 megawatts of good, reliable coal-fired power that runs 24/7. These are not tough numbers to get your head around, Peter, and that's assuming it's fully charged. I had a look at all of the solar farms that already exist in New South Wales. The 3 biggest in a 4-hour period, assuming you've got peak sunlight, couldn't charge it in 4 hours anyway. It is an absolute furphy. I remind my audience, of course, Keith was an electrical engineer before he got into Parliament, so he can get his head around this in a way few politicians can. So, OK, we're too late to save Liddell. Are we ready and willing, state and federal governments, to save the giant Eraring station? That's 25% of New South Wales power. We lost 10 today. It's on a countdown to close in 2 years' time. Give us your assessment.
Peter, these things were always done very methodically, very systematically, and you always built the replacement capacity before you shut the old one. How's that for a novel approach? To lose a Rarian, I think, would be incredibly dangerous. There's a thing called system strength, which helps with stability. It's inherent in all of those traditional type generators. It doesn't come with wind and solar. You have to purchase it separately. None of that's happened. There's no reliability standard on intermittent wind and solar. And these claims about negative pricing and the wholesale prices collapsed, etc. No one's seen that in retail, and about half of your bill comes from transmission. And Labor's plan is to build tens of thousands of kilometres of transmission, some $70 billion worth. And guess who's paying for it? You and I and everybody else.
Absolutely. Hey, just a quick one before we go. What's the latest on the gas caps?
Well, this is just another shambles. I mean, it's Communism 101. From what I can see of the current proposal, it comes down to the two ministers, currently Madeleine King and Chris Bowen, to decide if they like your gas company and whether all of these things will apply or not. No one will invest here if there's not a stable set of rules. I mean, what happens if next time we go around there's a change in government, there has to be a deal with the Greens and they make Adam Bandt the Resources Minister? What happens then? We've seen the Japanese ambassador screaming from the rooftops about sovereign risk. That's never happened. I just feel very sorry for our country, Peter, that these are the wrong decisions. We need the resources sector to be strong. We need a strong, reliable network for electricity. We need it to be affordable. It's just not that hard.
No, it's not too hard, but we're doing everything to make it as hard as we can for ourselves. And the world's a worrying and concerning place, as we know. Got to leave it there, Keith Pitt. Thank you. Thank you as always. See you next week.